Hey, it's Marley from the Energy Boutique with your energy forecast for Friday, August 20th. So the moon is in Capricorn, but moves into Aquarian energy at 5:50 a.m. Yes, we're already in the full moon window. We have the full moon in Aquarius taking place on Sunday at 29 degrees. Last month, we had the full moon taking place at the very early degrees, 0, 1 degree, which the moon is going to remind us of early this morning. So this is a super busy day. We have another busy day. Yesterday, we kind of got a little bit of a break. Of course, Wednesday was super cosmically chaotic. And now we have another day to kind of sort things out. So we are now moving into the full moon window, which means that there's a full illumination of the details of the script, of the narrative, of the topics, of the themes that we initiated under the new moon in Leo. We are at the halfway point, the very pivotal point where we tried new things, we reached some obstacles, we bumped into some challenges, we had to refine and adjust our tune, our plans moving forward. And now in the full moon window, we are being fully illuminated to what is not working, what we have to let go of, what we have to detach from. And this full moon in Aquarius energy is part 2, a continuation to the full moon in Aquarius energy that we had last month. There are 14 different aspects taking place today, and 11 of them involve the moon. Right out of the gate, the moon in Capricorn bumps into Jupiter, and this is going to really set us off, and I'm going to warn you, when we're in the full moon window, things get intense. Things are very sensitive. Everybody is a little bit cray-cray. Everything is hella intense. So we have to expect that things are going to trigger us. Why? Because we have to be illuminated to the darker emotions in order for us to realize what it is we never want to experience again, in order for us to build a framework on new intentions that we are going to create after we get rid of, release, detach from all these negative vibrations that we now know are holding us back and blocking our path. So there is going to be an outside trigger that takes place. We're likely going to wake up agitated as hell. We are still feeling the pressure. We are feeling the intensity of the roles and responsibilities of our commitments that we no longer want to be tied to, that we want to be freed from, but we still have to boss up and take control over. The moon in Capricorn bumps into the sun in Leo, really providing us with another opportunity to either succumb to the old ways of doing things, the old ways of reacting, allowing these outside triggers to really set us off, make us project, lash out, and of course, create a little bit of drama where drama doesn't need to be created. Or we can jump into the new. But now there's a conflict because we don't know how to handle these situations in any other way other than the way we've always handled them. This is an opportunity to break a cycle, to break the chain. How do we do that? We merely act differently. If your habit is to react out of anger, maybe you start slamming doors and cursing and swearing or whatever, the way you can change that vibration is to just not do that. Not slam that door, not curse, not stomp around like, you're going to just crush the world. Instead, you change the game, you flip the script. You allow those darker force or energies to say, hey, oh wow, she's really not acting the same. What are we going to do now? We want to set the tone for how it is that we react to situations, because then everybody and everything outside of us has to adapt to our vibration. We have to stand in our power. We have to set the tone. So the sun goes ahead and bumps into Chiron. And this is an opportunity where, we definitely are seeing ourselves in the darkest light. We're picking ourselves apart. Of course, that, previous days of the moon being in Capricorn and the moon still being in Capricorn at this point is bringing up this negative Nancy narrative where we strip ourselves down, tear ourselves down, pick ourselves apart. And the sun in Leo, of course, wants us to boss up and be the beautiful, proud lion that we all are. But Chiron wants to remind us that, hey, this is an ego problem. You're reacting out of ego right now. You look like a damn fool walking around, stomping around, smashing things together. You haven't learned anything at all. And so this is an opportunity for us to choose differently so that we can heal our image, the vibration of how we handle ourselves, the vision of our energy when we are tested and when we choose to act in a different way. The moon in Capricorn goes ahead and bumps into Mars in Virgo, and you best believe that this is an opportunity where we can lose our shit, where we can act out on our angry, frustrated, irritable, moody ass feels, where we can create a lot more drama and disruption in our lives if we do not rein in our energy and choose to align with the observer, with the higher self. This could create a lot of yuckiness that we're going to have to clean up later. And I highly advise that you take your energy, you take your frustration, you go for a run. You put it into cleaning your house. You go out and you do yard work. Turn that negative vibration into something positive and productive, because otherwise you are going to create an absolute disaster, a mess for yourself and for others. Now, Mercury, who is in Virgo, goes ahead and trines Uranus, who is now retrograde. This is the very first aspect that Uranus will be making with any of the planetary bodies in a retrograde. So a couple of months ago, we were talking about all of these major heavy hitting planets going retrograde. And basically, if you envision them all in a car going across country on a nice little vacation, that they're all essentially asleep at the wheel. So we have to put somebody in the driver's seat that is conscious, that is aware, that is looking all around, that isn't, fading in and out of falling asleep in the back seat. Now we have the sun right now, probably in its most powerful position, would be the best designated driver right now because the sun is in his place of power in Leo. And trust me, Leo has no problem taking control. It's a fixed sign. We have no problem bossing up. We're brave. We can handle this. We can follow a map. We're confident we're going to get there. We've got this. You guys go ahead. You guys fall asleep. Now, Uranus in a retrograde is a beautiful thing because we're getting all kinds of insights from our higher selves where we have a lot of beautiful moments, aha moments that we can't unknow. Because Mercury is in his most powerful state, ruling over our mental plane, bringing in new information, really analyzing the details, sorting things out, coming up with solutions to some of the problems, some of the narratives that we've been having. Mercury is the lower octave of Uranian energy. So Mercury is the lower octave of our mental plane that attaches us to this physical realm, where Uranus is the higher octave, attaching us to the cosmic intelligence. And so we're having some very, very intuitive and inspiring thoughts and realizations. And this whole perspective is very illuminating and very enlightening to us. Keep in mind that Uranus rules over Aquarian energy, and we're about to have a full moon in Aquarius. So this is a beautiful opportunity for us to kind of see the inner workings of our mind, see the inner workings of our perspective, how we're piecing things together, and new realizations that are actually coming out of sorting through and processing these new details, this new information. So the moon in Capricorn goes ahead and bumps into Mercury after having this aha moment. And there's a conversation that needs to happen because, again, the moon represents our heart, our emotions, and Mercury, of course, is the ruler of our mental plane. Mercury just got illuminated to a different situation, a different perspective, new information that changes the game. Now he has to communicate effectively on what it is that he just learned, what it is that he's just been enlightened about, and try to get our heart space in alignment, in agreement with what it is that our mental plane now knows to be true. But here's the thing though, our emotions are a little bit still stuck in the past. Again, that moon in Capricorn does not even want to deal with emotions, doesn't even want to talk about anything, certainly doesn't want to talk about the future and what could be. Instead, Mercury in Virgo really needs to kind of drive home that we've seen a different vision. We've seen a different path forward. We've seen a different way. And we're going to have a hard time getting our heart and our head in agreement because the moon in Capricorn just does not want to feel it. We have the tendency to let our heart lead right now and really talk our new mental plane, our new mental energy out of what realization we just had and bring it back into the negative Nancy, old patterns, old behaviors of our rigid ways of thinking. So our heart kind of wins on that one, but we actually didn't want our heart to win. Our mental plane was doing good for us, and we just talked our mental plane back into the old situation in which we were operating from. So Mercury goes ahead and bumps into Saturn. Saturn, again, the ruler of the moon in Capricorn. So if Mercury couldn't talk any sense into the moon in Capricorn, maybe talking some sense to the Lord of Karma himself will provide us with the reality check we need in order to transform our heart space. So Mercury goes ahead and talks to the Lord of Karma, Mr. Saturn, and Mr. Saturn says, you know what, you're right. Our insecurities, our fears, our vulnerabilities, our attachment to the past, our outdated ways of thinking and feeling really kind of took the wind out of your sails there. I feel like you were on a high. I feel like you gained a great perspective. That's our heart's fault for being too emotionally attached to the old. And I'm sorry about that. And Saturn's going to go ahead and give us a little bit of a reality check here and gets a little bit serious with us and says, you know what? You got to be stronger. You got to be stronger. You can't let your emotions stray you away from a realization and a solution, a path forward that you know to be true, that you concretely have done the research on, have gained the information about, and that you feel certain about. You can't let your emotions sway you away from that. And so this little kind of confrontation, this little heart-to-heart conversation between Mercury and Saturn is a good thing because Saturn is actually trying to beef us up, pep talk us into having the mental discipline that we absolutely need to not be swayed by our emotions. We're thinking clearly. We are seeing things in a different light. We are illuminated to a lot of situations that our heart hasn't quite accepted yet. And so we have to be disciplined, strong. We have to be rooted in order for our mental plane to take the power away from our outdated emotions. The moon then goes ahead and moves out of Capricorn energy and into Aquarian energy. So let me just tell you, when we move out of Capricorn energy and into Aquarian energy, we feel lighter, we feel free. We want to detach from the weight, from the roles, from the responsibilities, from all that negative Nancy bullshit, basically, that we experienced over the last couple of days, feeling too trapped in our bodies, feeling overwhelmed in our present lives, not allowed to think big, think bright, think futuristically. Basically, in Capricorn, we get illuminated to all of our roles and responsibilities, all of the restrictions, all of the obstacles and challenges that are holding us back. And then in the Aquarian energy, we break free from that. We detach from that. We find new paths, new solutions in order to get away from that and flip the script on being able to free ourselves from the weighted roles and responsibilities that we no longer want to be committed to. So the moon in Aquarius goes right in to a conversation with Chiron, the wounded healer. And this is a beautiful energy because the moon in Aquarius is like, damn, we spent too long in that Capricorn energy. I thought we were going to drown ourselves. I thought we were never going to think about the future again. I thought we were always just going to be trapped and weighted down by the same old, same old. I am so glad now that I am free. I am so glad that I can see past that. I am so glad that I am a visionary so that I can throw myself and project myself in the future to remind me what it is that I'm actually fighting for. As you can see, this is a huge healing in our inner narrative that we absolutely need at this particular point in time. The moon in Aquarius is all hyped up now. Now we have to clean up the mess, clean up the weight, clean up the heaviness, the negativity over the last couple of days. And so the moon in Aquarius goes ahead and has a conversation with Venus, who is in Libra. Venus in Libra is kind of saying, that moon in Capricorn asked me so many damn questions that I didn't have answers to, created all kinds of anxiety and chaos in me because I had to make a decision now. And as we know, side note, Libran energy, the most indecisive energy, period, right? So its natural energy is to be uncertain, to be indecisive, to look outside of oneself for direction and for validation. And so the moon in Aquarius right now is trining with Venus in Libra. And the moon in Aquarius is like, listen, don't even worry about it. I'm not going to grill you the way that Capricorn moon grilled you. I just want you to find peace and settle in the chaos. I want you to be okay with not knowing the answers right now. I want you to be okay with not having the answers to all your questions. I just want you to be balanced. I want you to be happy. I want you to, think about your choices, but not let them overwhelm you, not let them paralyze you. I just want you to find peace in the chaos, in the instability. The moon goes ahead and trines the true node. And as you know, the true node, it was like pulling teeth with the moon in Capricorn. The true node wanted us to think about the future. The moon in Cap wasn't having it. The true node wanted us to just remind ourselves of all the excitement that we had about moving into building these new realities. And of course, the moon in Capricorn wasn't having it. So the moon in Aquarius now is trining with the true node in Gemini, air on air. And now we're ready to think about the future. We're ready to think about our vision. We are ready to think about the big major changes that are coming, where it is that, we're going to have to grow. We're going to have to really suffer through the growing pains in order to get to where it is that we want to be. But guess what? It's all worth it because now we're riding high off the excitement that we have when we visualize the greater, grander vision and dream of what it is that we're trying to manifest. So now we kind of get our groove back. The moon in Aquarius goes ahead and bumps into Neptune. And this isn't the best conversation between the two, but at the same time, this is kind of turning up our sensitivities. And we're in the full moon energy anyways, so we are hypersensitive. Things are coming to the surface at an accelerated rate. We are feeling the heaviness, the darkness very intensely, but we're also feeling the light and excitement just as intensely. It's a little bit going, it's a bipolar moment, if you will. We definitely have the ability to sit in the darkness, but we definitely have the ability to climb the hell out of there and to start crawling into the light. So this particular aspect between these two is just going to kind of turn the volume up on our intuition, on our energetic selves, on our higher selves. We might feel a little bit overwhelmed to the point where we want to escape. But here's the thing. The emotional capacity of the moon in Aquarius is very detached. We're able to think about situations without getting emotionally overwhelmed with that. Neptune energy, though, is kind of always overwhelmed. And so with the moon in Aquarius detaching naturally, it kind of gives us a perfect excuse just to check out of reality and move into la la land, which Neptune in Pisces is all about. We don't really get too much time to float away, though, because the moon in Aquarius goes ahead and bumps into Mars, who is in Virgo. And this is really going to remind us that we can't let the frustration, we can't let the irritability, we can't let the restlessness of not moving fast enough in life, not seeing the productivity come in fast enough, not seeing the results of our energy fast enough to throw us off of our game. This is almost like a pep talk where, we say to Mars, you're still powerful just because you're not, on the battlefield, killing all the obstacles and challenges that come up in your reality and in your mental plane. Just because you're not slaying minute after minute doesn't mean that you're not powerful, doesn't mean that you're not making powerful moves. Sometimes choosing to stand in the present moment until we have a 100% sure path forward is the most powerful thing that you can do. So this is just a reminder that we still have the passion, we still have the excitement, we still have many moves to make. They're just not happening right now. That's okay. Stand in your power. There is a lot to be said of standing in your power, grounding, centering in this present moment, prepared for the green light moving forward. It's just not here just yet. So the moon in Aquarius goes ahead and conjuncts, meets up with Saturn, the Lord of Karma in the cosmos. As you know, Saturn is retrograde in Aquarius. The moon is in Aquarius, and now they're sitting at the same degree. Fun fact, yes, Uranus is the ruler over Aquarius, but Saturn is the traditional ruler over Aquarius. So there's a lot of strength that comes out when these two energies kind of blend together and beef themselves up. And this particular conversation between the moon and between Saturn is about responsibility. The responsibility that we have over our emotions, over our thoughts, over our actions. And especially just coming out with that conversation with Mars about how it is powerful to stand your ground, how it is powerful to hold the line until there is the correct move to make. This is just reassuring to us that we got this. We have the vision. We just need the plan. We need the validation. We need the empowerment from the universe to say, yep, go ahead. Now, do we make big moves in the full moon? Absolutely not. That's not the time to make big moves. It's the time to step back and see the bigger, greater, grander picture be illuminated for us, where new details emerge, new perspectives emerge, new information comes to light. Not the time to act on that information. So the moon in Aquarius goes ahead and bumps into Mercury, who is in his place of power in Virgo. Now this is fun. This is an interesting aspect because the moon in Aquarius is emotionally detached. We're able to look at the facts. We're able to look at the big vision. We're able to break it down and say, okay, here's the best strategy for us to improve, for us to progress through the stage of growth in order to get from where it is that we're at to where it is that we want to be. Mercury in Virgo is very analytical, only concerned with facts. It is what it is. And so there's not a lot of emotion happening between these two, which makes it a prime time to be able to express ourselves matter-of-factly, without any drama, without any ego, without any shoulda, coulda, wouldas and emotional tainting, if you will. And this is going to provide us with a great opportunity, first of all, to get our heart and our head back on the same page, but then to speak out if we're given the opportunity and compelled to feel the need to do so with the personal relationships that actually need to hear the new revelations and the new realizations that we're being illuminated to. So this is going to bode very well for us to speak our truth matter-of-factly, with no fluff, with no expectation, with no hurt feelings or damaged ego identity from the past. We are in this present moment. We are seeing the greater, grander vision of all that is transpired, all that it currently is, and all that will be. And we are speaking from a place of embodiment of the truth in this physical, practical body in this present moment.